Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Alistair and I'm a content creator from Brisbane, Australia. In this video, I'm hoping to teach you a few things about Premiere Pro that you might not know. These are actually things that I've picked up over the last year in 2020 that I've started incorporating into my own editing process. And it's really helped improve the production quality over my videos. So I'm hoping you might pick up something new in this video as well. And if you end up learning something new, please consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell button to turn on those notifications, because I will be releasing videos on a weekly or fortnightly basis throughout the rest of 2021. And just one more thing, if you'd like to see a little bit more behind the scenes or even some of my client work, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Alistair James. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. This first tip is related to color grading, and it's just a small tip that I've found super useful to help clean up my images and remove any unwanted hues. So this is something you might want to do at the end of your color grade just to finish things off and make them all really nice. We're going to go into Parametric color, go into curves, scroll down into where we can see Luma versus Sat and Sat versus Sat. I find that we get the most dramatic effect when we apply this to the shadows in Sat versus Sat. So create one dot on that first vertical line and then bring down those shadows. Now we can already see, if we look at both the image and Lumetri scopes, is that they are changing and the image is improving in aesthetic quality, at least from my opinion. I also like to do this to the highlights for Sat versus Sat, and then also in Luma versus Sat to both the shadows and the highlights. However, I find that the most effect is coming from the shadows in that Sat versus Sat. You can also play with this dot and you can move it closer to the center or further away to get a more dramatic effect if you like. So that is how you fine tune that one. A second tip that I've found really useful in Premiere Pro this year has been using the Luma key effect to remove unwanted backgrounds from things like logos and product images. So in this video, I needed a nice way to finish off the video with a bit of a hero shot, and I pulled two screenshots off the client's website showing the product that the video was promoting. And as you can see, I've still got this white background in here. Now, of course, a lot of time people might go into blend modes and try these out, and you might get a decent effect some of the time, but it just wasn't working in this situation. So what we can do here is go ahead and we'll go to effects, type in Luma key, drag that one on. We're going to reduce the threshold all the way down to 0% rather, and then just start increasing our cutoff until we see it remove and nothing else. So just at 1% is enough for that one. And let's do the same to our second Luma key, threshold down to 0, and just that 1% should be enough. And there we go. So from here, we've now got these two images. We could add some keyframes, add some movement to those. And it's just a really simple tool to remove any background that's a solid color, like a white background, from any logos or from product page images. Number 3 is related to using the velocity graph within your keyframes to animate your clip's position or even scale. And if you can master this and become really good at it, you're going to be a much more powerful editor. Let's go ahead and I'll show you how to do this one. So we're going to use this clip right here. It's just a really basic push-in shot of these subjects, and it goes into a shot that moves a little bit quicker towards the subjects in terms of zooming in closer towards them. So I'm going to use the velocity graph editor to make these two clips work as well as they possibly can together. So I'm going to go to the start of the clip and we'll go ahead and create a keyframe right at the very beginning. We're going to right click on that one and do an ease out. I'm then going to go to the end, that very last frame, and we're going to make another keyframe. We might make this one around 105 though. Now we're going to use this down arrow to access the velocity graph, which is this one right here. I also like to pull it down a little bit so we can really see what's going on nicely. And basically all we're going to do is stretch out this one and then bringing this one in a bit closer, because I want this to really zip into the next shot. So it's starting off, we are just slowly moving in terms of scale, and then the speed at which that scale increases is a lot more pronounced towards the end of the clip. So now we can see as we play this one back, it's not quite a zoom transition, but it just looks smooth and adds a little bit more visual interest. And you can use this in so many ways. It all just comes down to using that velocity graph in a way that suits your edit the best. My fourth tip is to use the simple parametric EQ effect when you're dealing with videos that contain both a song and some kind of dialogue, like a voiceover or perhaps an interview. And shout out to Nigel Barros for this tip. All the settings that I'm going to show you are from his video, which was about 3 tips that he had for editing within Premiere Pro that he found super useful. So I've taken this one from his video, but it has been a tip that has been so useful for me this year that I just had to include it in this one. So I'll go ahead and show you how this effect works. So this is our song down here, and this is our voice here. And we want this audio, of course, to decrease when this voice comes in. So what we'll do is you just drag on that simple parametric EQ effect on. And again, these settings are all from Nigel's video. So we've got our center on 1148.4, our Q at 4, and then boost at 18. Now, just a side note on the boost as well, or with any of these parameters, you can actually animate these as you like. So you might like to have, this at 0, and then as the voice comes in, or any kind of voiceover or anything like that comes in, it can reduce in volume down to 18 decibels. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll show you what it sounds like with this effect on and with this effect off, so you can see if you think that the difference is significant enough to use this in your own videos. So let's go ahead and we'll first listen to it if we were just to do this the more traditional route, which is just to reduce the volume of the audio track rather than use a simple parametric EQ effect. And this is what it sounds like.
The little details from when I come into urban that really make...
Okay, so what I'm noticing with the song there is that it reduces the volume of the whole song, whereas the simple parametric EQ effect reduces more of the frequencies that are in that same zone as the voice. So we just reduce the stuff down that kind of clashes with the voice better, and it gives you a cleaner sound, I think. So what you'll notice here is when we've got the simple parametric EQ effect on and we're using that to reduce the volume of the clip, is that we should retain some of that bass. We can still kind of stay in that vibe of the song as the voice comes in. So this is what it sounds like with the simple parametric EQ effect instead of just reducing our volume.
The little details from when I come into urban that really make the experience for me. The little details from when I come into urban that really make the experience for me. The little details from when I come into urban that really make the experience for me.
Tip number 5, I'm going to show you how to package sequences. This is something that I learnt towards the end of this year, and it's been super helpful in helping me create my 2020 Reel video. So what you can do here is essentially take all those sequences of your favorite videos. You can take all the effects that you added, the color grade, all the information that that sequence holds, and you can export it to another folder on your computer that contains all of the files that you want to pull from for your reel. So to start, I'll show you what it looks like in a folder so you can kind of get your head around this idea if you're not familiar with this concept yet. So I've got a project that I'm organizing. Obviously, I'm organizing all the files in my computer. I've got my Premiere Pro files that I'd have, any music, and I'm then going to be dumping all these sequences into their own folders. So this is just a client folder that I've got, and as I've exported this sequence or packaged this sequence from Premiere Pro, it's given me all of the clips that were used just within that sequence rather than the entire folder. This is going to help Premiere Pro from losing performance. If I'm dealing with a smaller number of files, but I know it's all my very best clips, Premiere Pro will function much easier and I shouldn't have any problems when I'm making this video. So I've got all of the clips that I used in this project, including all of my light leaks, the music, everything that was significant in that sequence that Premiere Pro would need is there. So let's go ahead and I'll do this to another sequence. So this is another project that I've had recently, and I'm going to go ahead and export this out, and I'm going to add it to my 2020 Reel folder. So we're going to go up to File, Project Manager. I'm then going to go through and find exactly where this sequence was from up here. So the sequence that I'm trying to find is Nice Cream Widescreen V1 or WS V1. So I'm just going to go through here. There it is right there. So it's checked, Nice Cream Widescreen V1. That's the one that I want to export. I'm going to go collect files and copy to new location. I'm then gonna choose the destination. So it's gonna be that 2020 reel folder. So I'm gonna choose that. So we've got the correct location. These are the settings that you want just by default. These are all absolutely fine. And then this is really cool, is that you can check how much disk space that this is going to use. So we can hit calculate on that and it'll analyze and it'll tell me how big this, how much space this is gonna take up in the new location. So only 6.76 gigabytes, which is nothing in comparison to all the footage that I'd captured for that project. We'll then hit OK. And this operation requires the project to be saved. Continue, yes. That'll save and it'll start to analyze and it'll export that folder into my 2020 reel folder that I've got set up. It's then gonna make editing my 2020 reel so much easier because I'm gonna have all of the clips that were taken from that project that I thought were obviously the bangers because I ended up using them in the actual edit. And it's gonna come along with any light leaks I might have used, any other overlays. They're all gonna be there for me to use within that reel, and it's just gonna make that editing process so much easier. Okay, so that's just finished. If we come on into our 2020 reel folder, we'll now find this new one here. It's copied Botanica Blends, and it's just copied that everything that's from the sequence that I wanted. This project, Botanica Blends, is huge. I've done so many videos for this client, but it's just maybe this one video that I want to include in my reel. So now that I've got these two packaged sequences here from previous videos I might have done in the year, all I need to do is open up the 2020 reel Premiere profile that you would just create normally, how you'd normally make any kind of project. And then all you need to do is find the project file within the sequence that you've packaged, drag that into import media, select import selected sequences, create a folder for imported items, hit OK. Then Premiere Pro is going to spend a little bit of time setting this up. So it's now connected and I need to go in and select the right sequence again. So I've found that sequence that I want and I'm hit OK. Okay, so now I will have everything that I need from that project right here for me to go ahead and use, including all of the clips and everything that I've used. I'll go ahead and open that up. And there it is. So I've now got everything that I need from that sequence right there, ready to go within a brand new Premiere Pro project. So let's go ahead and we'll do that same process once more. So just to show you, we're gonna go in and we'll bring over this other sequence. So I'm gonna bring this project folder in there, import selected sequences, okay. I then just need to go in and find that sequence. So there it is right there. And let's go ahead, we've got it down here in our project window now. And I can go in and find that, super easy. And so now when I create, you know, my 2020 reel sequence, I can easily just copy and paste from here and bring them over into this project. So those are some of the best, most useful things that I've learned in 2021. They've really helped me out with all my projects this year and I use them frequently. If you've learned something from this video, it would mean the world if you could hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and even turn on that notification bell because I'm gonna be releasing a lot more videos in 2021 and hopefully I can teach you a few more things into 2021. So thanks again for watching and I'll see you in the next video.